So hello everyone and welcome to our very first edition of Her Story. Today we are so privileged to sit and chat with the proprietor of Shiver, and we've been watching her journey unbeknownst to her along the way, from conception of her idea to how her business has actually grown over the years. So it's our privilege to sit and discuss all things women in business with Miss Melissa Darville, Shiver, Bahamas. Melissa,
Hi.
welcome to our very first edition of Her Story.
Thank you for having me.
As we begin our discussion today, relationship is at the core of everything that we do. And as a business owner, I want to drive home the importance of building relationships with other people as the foundation to build any business on. So with that said, would you share a bit about who Melissa is?
Okay, Melissa is a work in progress. I am, as I speak, trying to build the woman that I want to become. I realize that in my life, I've made mistakes and errors, but all of those have confirmed to me the path that I am taking now. Because sometimes if you do not make a mistake and do not see the consequences, you're not secure in your decision and you can be dissuaded and go down that path again. Okay, Melissa is a determined woman. I'm courageous and scary. But how do I explain that? So if I may be afraid of an insect, I may be afraid of centipede, I may be afraid of a snake, but I will go and grab the cutlass and I will get rid of it. I may be afraid to do something, but I'm still going to do it. I was determined to go back and visit my high school in Toronto, but I'm afraid of bridges. I'm afraid of heights, but the only way for me to get there last summer was to drive across the bridge, the elevated bridge. I was sweating, my palms I was numb. But I was so determined that I was going to get there that I pushed myself through it. So, and that is like the story of my life. My life has not been easy. I've had many obstacles and hurdles, things that I have caused myself because of the things that I didn't build in me yet. And that's what I'm working on now at my age, which may seem late, but it's never too late in business. It's never too late, because I realized that the mistakes that I made and the things that caused because this is my second business. I had a school first, special needs school. The things that caused that to fail were my needs to be accepted by other people. My need to have my choices approved by other people. And then I found through mistakes that waiting for other people to approve my choice and going with what they told me was best caused me to fail. So if I'm going to fail, let me fail by the choices I make. So what else about Melissa? I may not be a very sociable person, but if you get me one-on-one, I can talk to you, because I'm the type of person, I'm not really superficial. I don't really believe in like light talk and makeup and dressing up, but I believe in like core things. What are you all about? What are you trying to accomplish right now? That's how I choose to spend my words. And I say my words because my talking to me, I don't want to waste my words. I don't want to waste my time, because I know that our time is limited. We don't know how many years we have.
Yes.
And I can, this really hits home to me because 9 years ago, I lost my best friend.
Oh.
And we always, she was just like me, courageous and a fighter. And, at the end, because she got an illness and we didn't discover what it was until after her passing. And she said, Melissa, I am so tired of fighting.
Wow.
All my life, I've had to fight. I'm so tired. And I was telling her, I said, no, just fight a little bit more, because I don't want you to leave me. I don't want you to leave me. And then she says, but I'm tired. And so I said, you know what? It's going to be okay. If you make it through, it's going to be okay. And if you don't make it through, guess what? You still going to be okay, because we believe in Jesus. And this has to be his will. And so going through that, and I was pregnant at that time. So I was trying not to grieve. I didn't grieve until after I had the baby. And then that was it, because I was so afraid to hurt the baby going through, because she had been my roommate from college. I'd known her when we were in our 20s. So in that, I'm saying I learned the lesson that you don't know how much time you're going to have. The dreams that were planted in your heart, it is your duty in life to try to accomplish those. Now, even if you don't accomplish all of those goals, maybe your goal was, or the job was for you to pursue it, but the job may not have been able to excel at it, because maybe while you were pursuing it, you pulled a couple people with you.
Yeah.
You pulled, and see, now I'm coming from a educator's background. So for 18 years, I was a teacher, and the last 11, I taught special needs. And I found it ironic that I kept telling kids, you don't have to worry about fitting in. You don't have to worry about if you can do this exam and they can't do this exam. Just be you, and that's enough. And it started to hit home for me. I'm like, well, you're not doing that. You're not following all of your dreams. You're not stop worrying about what other people think about you and what their opinions are of you. And so, when the doors of the schools closed, we were open for 11 years. When that closed, I had already started this side hustle with the sorbet. And the parents, they were saying, Miss Gibbs, because I was a Gibbs, and Miss Gibbs, what are you going to do? You're going to open another school? I said, don't panic. Don't panic. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I am secure that God will open a door for me. And just through when I started making the sorbet, I didn't even have a cooler or a freezer bag.
Wow.
I had a clothes hamper. And I would put those sorbet in that clothes hamper, drag it to the schools, and sell it to them on Fun Day.
Wow.
And from that, when you're talking about relationships, that's how my business grew. Because I had friends who were teachers from before. They started asking me to bring it for their fun days. Then I had those people taking the extras at home. Then I got some of the people who worked at the bank. They wanted it. They wanted to start doing their office deliveries. When they had events, I started doing pop-ups at those events. And that's actually how I got my first contract.
Wow.
It was a lady who was at Commonwealth Bank who took some home. Her daughter-in-law works to Bahamian, who was in the events. She tried it and she said, what is this? She said, oh, that's a girl in Bahamian girl. She's made this. So the girl called me. She said, now listen, how much of these you could make? And say, I'm feisty. I said, girl, I have 50,000 cups in my shed. What you need? She said, I need about 5,000. I said, sure. Now, I don't know how I was going to make 5,000 because I didn't have storage space to hold 5,000.
Wow.
So I called her back. I said, how about this? I deliver 1,500 one day, 1,500 the next day, and you all store it for me, but that's the rate. She said, fine. And that's what I did. So you don't say no. When an opportunity comes to you, you may not know how that's going to work out, but you try your best. And that's what I did. And I didn't have a freezer truck. I borrowed my daddy's van. Wow. I didn't even know how to case. So I had them in bags and bread bags tied up. So by the time we got to Bahamian, and this was for their grand opening, by the time we got there, the back trunk was a mess because they were slipping and sliding all over the place because I didn't know yet how to case. But that was my learning experience. So from then I said, okay, now you can't put them in bags with this volume. Now you have to learn how to case, and then you have to learn how to box those. And that's when I found out about the plastic wrap. I was just like, we always see it at the airport. They wrapping everything with it, get everything to fit. Melissa, try that. And that's how we started doing our cases. Wow. So that's with Melissa. So Melissa is a person who does not give up. I'm a fighter. I'm going to try. And when I do something, I leave it all on the track. Well, see, I used to do track and field. So I always use this. I leave it all on the track. If I'm going to do something, if I can't do it my wholehearted way, I'm going to tell you no. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Now, I'm not really the type of person who you would say join a group. People ask me, oh, can you join this group and join this club? I'm not really that type of person because I really need like my mental space. I'm a really, I like to get things done and then I need to seclude. So I would say, I may not join your group or your community, but I will do this for you. What do you need? Give me a task. I will show up and I will do that to the best of my ability. So I guess like this kind of matches with like when I worked, I didn't like being micromanaged. Right. That's how I ended up stepping out to do my own thing because I don't really like people micromanaging me. Wow. Because I feel as if tell me what my objective is. You hired me because you felt I was capable. Let me do that.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Sounds like a real amazing journey. It really does. It sounds like you've really come into a sense of who you are. And that's one of the key components of business is really to be grounded in who we are. So we're not like one day this way, the next way another way, but we know ourselves so well. We know our strengths, we know the areas of development that we need, we know what we love, what we don't love. So I like the fact that, you know, you're able to say, you know what, no, I can't contribute in that way, but here is how I can, because you're honoring who you are as a person as you conduct business. A lot of times as women, we do things because we don't want to say no, and we do things because we want people to accept us, but we have to first accept who we are and build from there. So it's just wonderful to hear you share all of that, because we can do that and still be successful.
Yes.
So why sorbet? Like, you know, like how did you come into, you know, sorbet?
We fell upon sorbet. I always wanted to have an ice cream store. When I went to Jamaica and I tried their ice cream. I was like, my goodness, what is with this ice cream? And then they told me it's because we use the, you know, natural ingredients. If you start with good ingredients and fresh things, this is how ice cream is. So I always wanted to have an ice cream store like that. So I got a countertop ice cream machine for my birthday. And so we experimented with that. I mean, when I say experiment, we did heavy cream, we did sweet milk, we did wine, white, red, champagne, fruit, everything with it. Until one day I found some tamarind pulp and I was like, let me try this. So I put it in and people were like, oh my goodness, this is so good. This is so good. It tastes like, you know, frozen tamarind sauce. And I like frozen tamarind sauce, but without the seeds, I was just like, okay, let me try it with another fruit. And that's how we started. And so because we got good, and that was testing on family and friends. So after testing with them, it said, okay, let's take the jump. Let's do a business plan and see. That's what people think. Sometimes I have many people that came to me, oh, I want to do a business, but they never went and did a business plan. They think it's, you know, it's negligible. You don't have to do it. So from that point, from finding out that was a good idea, we started writing a business plan. It took us 3 years to put it together because it was just like a thing that we just like researching and taking your time to do it. And after the business plan, we decided and researching all the options, because first I was thinking about an ice cream storefront. And because the cost of that, doing the research and seeing what the cost of that would actually come out to be, I was like, okay, can't do that. Let's go back and try manufacturing. And we got a large batch freezer. And then we took the plunge and ordered 25,000 cups from China. And my brother said, Melissa, you're going to be giving out paper cups for Christmas for the rest of your life because you're going to never use those paper cups. I was like, well, so be it. Let me try. And in 3 months, bam, those were gone.
Wow.
Those were gone. In the first, I don't mind talking numbers. In the first time when we opened the sorbet, we made $30,000 that year. The next year we made like $75,000. Then the next year we made like $100,000. So we was like, okay, at this point we said, okay, this is actually going somewhere. And that's when we started trying to find funding. Okay. After all of that testing and seeing that, okay, you could sustain it yourself. It wasn't just a trend and a fluke. Because the reality is people say, oh, I want to start a business, but you have to first make sure that could sustain your household.
Yes.
I have 4 kids, so I can't be doing foolishness. I have to make sure whatever I do is able to keep the house running.
Yes.
So that's, you know, people think, oh, you just do it for fun. No, it's fun at the start. You have to love it, but the work that it takes, you have to be committed to it, and it has to have real financial rewards. Not to say the business has to make you super rich, but it just has to sustain you as if you would have a regular salary job.
Right.
So you have to be smart, not just passion, because passion just can't take you. You have to be passionate, and you also have to be wise about it.
Well, I love the fact that you speak about research and development, because as I started working with my current coach, one of the things that she's big on is research and development. So the vast majority of my time right now is spent on researching industries, researching products, research and development of values that other companies have that I want to work with to see if our values align, like literally going on Google and looking up some of these companies that have large events that I may want to speak to, and looking at, you know, what those events are about, what their culture is about, and seeing if they could mesh and align. So it's not like a haphazard thing. Like running a business and being successful in business takes a lot of research. And people look for a quick turnaround. When they start, they start today and they want it to be successful next week. But every success takes time. So we have to put ourselves in the mind frame that we have to do the research, try it, tweak it, do it again, and just stay on a continuous journey of making your products or your services the best that's on the market. So you started out in business from your home. You started out with your first contract that you just aggressively took on. And so from what I'm seeing, like you're in a lot of retail places now. How did you go from home to being a distributor for retail houses?
By being told no. That's how. Because when we were trying to get on the shelves at stores, they said, these freezers belong to company A and company B.
Wow.
We can't put your stuff in there. We want to carry your stuff, but we can't put your stuff in there. So we're like, oh, wow. So here we have a problem. So either we just continue doing pop-ups or we try to figure out how to get in the store. So we started doing the research and we said, okay, how much does a freezer cost? We looked at them like a retail freezer and we're like, okay, we cannot pay that. So we said, okay, what if we buy them in bulk? And we found out that the cost was about a quarter of the price if you bought a container load, 20-foot container. So
Wow.
that's what we did. We talked with the people. We went on Alibaba as our friend and the Indian Mart is our friend. And we contacted people. We said, okay, how many freezers can we fit? What is your minimum? Okay, your minimum is a 20-foot container. Okay, how many freezers can I fit in there? And what sizes? And so what we did, we got half with tall freezers and half with small, short freezers because we didn't know what people would want. And we took the plunge and we bought them. Well, we had to do a couple more steps first because we had to design it. So I had to find a designer. We had to get a design for it. It turned that in, da-da-da-da-da. And when we came with the freezers, that was our selling point. So we said, okay, here we are with that. What if we let you use our freezer and you can, would you sell our stuff? They said, sure. And that's how we got into stores. That's how we got into schools. That's how we got into all sorts of hardware places. That's how we got on the out islands. Because what we found was, talking about the research, a lot of people who want to sell frozen products cannot, because they already have the whole overhead of their store. They can't go and buy another freezer.
Right.
So if we can assist them with that, then that would help us to get in the door and that would help them. Because we found that there was a long waiting list of people who had small corner stores who wanted to sell ice cream and everything else, but they didn't have the option of getting one of those complimentary freezers. So we said, okay, so let's work on the underserved population. Because everyone kept telling us, oh, you need to go out west. You need to do this. You need to do that. And we said, we tried it, but we said, okay, $1 is $1. So I don't have to go that far to get $1. What we need is we need the people to accept that this is a Bahamian product. So you can't do that by just focusing on expatriates and tourists. First, the people have to adopt you and they have to tell you if it's authentic or not. And then after that, because you can't go and say, I'm a Bahamian product and selling it to other people and Bahamians be like, child, we don't read that. You can't. And so what we did, we got into the corner stores and we're focusing on them. We got into my friends from school, friends of friends, friends of family. We would go, do you want to freeze in your store? Okay. And we tell people, we try not to make it hard because we understand the sacrifice of people who are in a small business. Because someday we're saying, we got advice. Oh, you need to make them sign a contract and they need to have this minimum and you need to be like this. And if they don't do this, you need to pull the freezer. Yes, you can go that route. But talking about relationships, you have to understand who you're dealing with. If I know that you are also, I like to deal with female business owners. I know what your situation is, and you be honest with me and say, this is what my situation is, and this is what I can afford a week. Okay, we'll start with $50 a week. I don't mind. You're doubling your money anyway. It doesn't matter to me. But the freezer at least is working, and you could prove the concept. Because it's a thing to go to people and ask them for a big, lump sum of money when they haven't proven it for themselves. Yeah. So let them prove it. And then when they see they're getting their turnover, then they could do more. So we try to be, I'm a church, I go to church and I pray a lot. And I truly believe that having a business, you also have to have your Christian principles in it. Because as people say, if you don't build it on rock, it's not going to stand. So it's no use you trying to be a vulture and, and prey on people. It's not going to work out for you. You can be a Christian and be in business. It doesn't being a Christian doesn't mean you're going to give your stuff away. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make any money. It just means you're fair. You're understanding. I listen to you, and people, we have conversations. They'll be like, you know, I'm really not doing it right now. I'm having a hard time. So if you want to come back for the freezer, you can come back for the freezer. I said, okay, I can come back for the freezer. When you're ready, you let me know. Or plug it out. When you get back on your feet, you'll start restocking again. Because you don't want to make people feel bad to say, okay, I had this freezer, and then people come into the store, oh, they lose their freezer. No, you don't want them to feel that way. Especially like in this time of COVID, it's not the time to pray and pressure people. Because then when things pick back up, I'm not going to say if, because it's going to pick back up. This is just a phase. When it picks back up, they're going to remember this is the person that was mean to me when I was at my lowest. This is the person who's only interested in money. They're not interested in me as a person. They're not interested that I was going through a hard time. They're not interested that it was more important to me to keep bread and eggs and milk on my shelf, because that's what people were buying a lot. Because I understand sorbet is a luxury item. It's something that you do not need, but people like. So I'm not trying to say, or, you know, I don't want to put the pressure on people, oh, we need to sell this. No, it's a luxury item, and it has sugar, it's a sweet. It's a healthier option, but it's not a necessity. And so you have to understand that. But sometimes as a business owner, you think, oh, this is my product, and this, you need this. You need this for your life. No, you don't. Be honest. It's good. If you have extra funds, then you could add 1 or 2 to your list, but it's not a necessity. So
I love that. I love that we keep proving this point about relationship, and there just can't be a cookie cutter approach to a business, particularly for startup businesses, right? We have to get to know the people that we want to support us in business. We have to get to know what's going on with them, how we could serve them, how we could be flexible. And I love the fact that you want to maintain the dignity of the people that you work with and who are helping you. It's a partnership. You're helping each other, right? So I love the fact that you want to preserve the dignity. I love the fact that you talk about sharing risk, right? Or taking risk. My apologies, because you have to take risk in business. Some of them will pan out, and some of them will be life lessons. We talk about your sorbets. What are some of the flavors that you have in stock?
We have mango, passion fruit, tropical, which is the mango, passion, and pineapple blend. We have blackberry sometimes. Guava, that people, is another new one that we introduced that people seem to love. Tamarind and soursop. So what we did, we have custom cups for 5 of those. We started out with 10 flavors, but you have to adjust. 10 flavors, there were some of them that were sitting on the shelf longer than others. So we pulled back from those and just stuck on what we call our Power 5. So after now, the Power 5, you have to keep things switching for people. So they were like, okay, you have anything new? People kept asking, you have anything new? You have anything new? So I said, okay, we'll introduce 2 other ones. So right now they don't have their own cup. They're just using a generic cup. And so far it's looking like guava is the winner. So seeing that guava is the winner, then we'll invest to get a guava cup.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do, because then, you know, sometimes people, they give you all sorts of advice. Oh, you need a special cup for this. And but you have to understand, I need to buy 25,000 at a time. So I have to be sure that that is a flavor that is going to sell. Otherwise, as my brother said, I'll be giving away cups for Christmas.
I love your brother. So as you consider all that you've done in business, your journey from starting to being a wholesale distributor and working with small businesses to help them, partner with them to be successful as well, were there any obstacles that you overcame, and are there any regrets?
Well, I try not to live in a place of regret. So, because it's not a healthy place for you to live and to be and to think about, because then you can't bounce back and be resilient. So what I do, I compartmentalize it and be like, okay, this was something that I learned. I understand that I did that because this is what I understood at that point, and this is what my needs were at this point emotionally, and those weaknesses caused me to make this decision. So I try not to say, you know, because you can't put yourself down, because you're getting attacked all the time from outside. So you can't also internalize that and be like, oh, I regret doing this and I regret doing that. I say, no, I did that because I felt I should have helped my sister. I did that because I felt the kids needed blah, blah, blah. But now I realize that it was more important to do it this way. So that's how I try to do it. But so I don't try to have any regrets. What I try to do is to work on myself. So what I would tell people, they would say, your business is only as strong as you are. Work on yourself. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, it hurts to get criticism, but listen to that brutal criticism. Sometimes people could say it a little bit nicer, but listen to the gist of it and build yourself. Because unless you are really, I used to tell, because when I had a therapist and I said, I just want, because I was so soft and so meek because I just want people to like me. And I told him, I said, you know what I want? I want to be like a hot knife cutting through butter. And that's what I want to be. I don't want to be abrasive to get it. I won't get it done, but I will get it done nice and smoothly.
Yeah.
So I would tell people, build yourself so that you're strong enough to cut through obstacles and barriers smoothly. How they say, close the door gently. You don't have to slam every door. You don't have to break down every bridge. You don't have to kick down everything. You could cut through it nice and neat. If some things need to be severed, some things need to be changed. And you can't do that unless you build yourself up. And I have to say, prayer life is very important. Reflecting on your life is very important. Having that private time is very important. Having quiet time is very important. If you're always listening, always have noise around you, how are you going to get the messages that are trying to come into you? How are you gonna figure out and get your thoughts to sort itself if you're always listening to something? And then also you have to beware of people who are always in your ear. Be your own inner voice. Find who your center is. If it's Jesus, if it's whatever, whoever you worship, find your center and listen to that voice and to your voice. Because you have a voice. Don't always just be, because you'll be like the wind. This one says this, and this one says this. This one says this. So you have to be strong in yourself. So that would be my recommendation to young women. Build yourself. Yes, because when I was younger, my big thing was, I was listening to what my community was telling me. You need to be a wife. You need to be this type of mom. You need to be this. You need to be that. But you can be all these things, but you don't have to lose yourself to do it. And sometimes we try so hard to be that perfect mom, that perfect wife, that perfect daughter, that we lose ourselves. And I had to, that's what I had to tell myself. I had to say, you have your one life to live. You live that by what you discovered is best for you. But you have to live your life by when you close your eyes and you meet your maker, you could say, I did my best. You can't blame it on anyone else. So do that now. Build yourself. Find out where your weakness is. If you see yourself getting in the same situation over and over again, that's something you need to work on. That means people or you are feeding on some weakness that you need to fill that void. And, a lot of us have that, that void, that need. As a woman, I think that's the main thing. We want to be needed. We want people to tell us we're special. So we give up so much of fire and the things that make us great, because being a woman doesn't mean that you are submissive all the time. You are a person. You are a person. You can have great ideas. You can be aggressive. You can do these things and still be feminine. And, I think that's the thing with myself. I call myself a MacGyver. I will do it myself, because I also if I have some cement in the back trunk and I cannot find someone to lift that for me, I will find a way to roll that where I need that to be. I will find a way to get that done. And you have to believe in your strength. Don't sit back and say, oh, I couldn't get that done because I didn't have this. I can't get that done because I didn't have anybody to do that for me. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Find a way to do it yourself. And what I found is when people see you doing something for yourself, help will just come.
Yes.
Help will just come. Because sometimes I was in the car trying to take out one thing. I had to switch out a freezer at a shop. I was by myself. First of all, I had to teach myself, or I got my brother taught me how to drive the stick shift truck, because I bought two trucks. One was stick shift, one was automatic. And the stick shift one is colder and bigger than the other one. So he taught me how to use it. So I already struggled cutting off all the time to get to the store with the freezer. I was able to take the freezer out with the trolley, put it in the store. But when it was time to take the old freezer out and lift it into the truck, I couldn't. I tried, and I was there sweating and trying. And then some guys who worked at Acapure, they say, let me help you lift this in. And they helped me lift it in. And I said, thank you so much. And I was just like, but people will help you. But if I didn't get that far, I wouldn't have changed that freezer. I would have been stuck right home and told the person, sorry, I can't switch out your freezer because I don't have a driver and I'm waiting for a mail to come to lift it for me. So I'd have been, no, do what you can do first. Do what you can do first, and God will send you help. Because people, people are very helpful.
There's so much power in what you said just now. It's just like, there's just so much power in that. We have to be our own rescue. That's what I'm hearing from you. Like we have to believe in ourselves that, what we're doing, our business, if it's birthed in our purpose, if it's our God-given destiny, then we have to believe in it and believe in it so much that we have a no matter what attitude. I'm going to do this regardless of the obstacles. I'm going to do this no matter what walls I face, because I'm going to try to knock that wall down. And the key lesson is when we start, our help will come.
And help will come.
Our help will come. So procrastination gets us nowhere. Listen, that was just totally powerful. So as we look at, there are two more questions that I want to ask you before we wrap up our interview today. The first one is, as a business owner, what is it that brings you the greatest joy when you look at how far you've come? What are the liberations of being a business owner? What are the freedoms? What are the passions and joys that you get from making the decision to step into this business?
I must say the real, true, great joy was my uncle. He said he went into a bank and he heard some people talking about, when it was one of those times when the article was in the paper, and they said, "You think that girl could do that? She's talking about she won't do this. You think she could do that?" And he said, he just smiled and he turned his head. He said, "That is my niece. And I know her from she was small. And if Melissa said she's going to do something, she's going to do it." And he said he felt so empowered. He said he felt so, courageous to defend me because, and that's what brings me joy. My other uncle came on, that was my uncle on my mom's side. My other uncle on my dad's side, he came by one day. So, "Melissa, I need to see this." And he came in there and he's just like, "Melissa, this is awesome. Continue doing this." Because the thing is, we have some families, they put the boys on the pedestal. The boys need to take the family name. The boys need to be the family business. And they overlook the girls. You go and you be a wife or just teach, you just do what you do. Just stay out of the way. Don't try to do nothing much. So it's empowering that my uncles are coming up and saying, "Melissa, go ahead and do this thing." My dad came one day and he said, "Melissa, this need to be a 100-year business. So I don't know what you're thinking about, but you need to make this last for 100 years. I was just like, "Daddy, that's a bit much." But he was just getting his point across. Don't give up, because it's being built on. When I sit here, I say I. I got in trouble for that because they say, "Oh, you're always saying I." I say I because I don't know. I just like to say I. But it's built on generations. Because actually the house that I'm in right now, the place where I have the business, my grandmother built this. She had 4 kids, a divorced lady from then, and that was not a thing. And she built 2 homes, and this is one of them. And I'm able to build this business because of the sacrifices that she has made. And then, my dad does custom, so he was able to help me with getting through some of that. My nephews, they're in trucking and da-da-da-da. So it's the whole family. So I may stand here by myself, but I am not by myself. My great-grandmother, she actually was the one who started making ice cream, and she would make it on Sundays off East Street in her bucket, and everybody used to come to the yard doing that. So I don't stand here by myself. I may look like I'm by myself, but I am standing on the backs of the sacrifice and the values and the hard work of my whole family, mother's side and my dad's side. So that is what brings me joy, that I am able to say I am a culmination of the values of my family. That's what I am. All the things they tell us, my brother, I always tell my brother, because he's the only one boy with 3 sisters, so he tried it, get all these things. His thing was, you need to be independent. Melissa, nothing is for free. You need to learn how to do this. So from I was a little girl, he taught me how to take down a door, put up a door, change a lock, change the oil, change the car tire, blah, blah, blah. He taught me how to do these things because he wanted me to be independent. Yeah. My grandparents, he had a whole yard with just fruit trees, and he would take us through there, and we would have every single kind of fruit. All summer, we didn't have to come back in the house because we could just stay in the yard and eat all day just from the yard. So I stand here because of the things that my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents have done. And that's what brings me joy. Not money, because I only need a little bit. I only need to pay my bills and be comfortable. That's not what pushes me. What pushes me is to see my family proud of me.
Awesome.
That's
That's
it.
really nice. And you know, we're more successful when we don't pursue money. We live passionately, purposely, and we attract money so that we can do the things that we need to do. The pursuit of money is what takes us down the wrong path a lot of times. But when we stay true to our values and pursue our purpose and live in joy, it's an enriching feeling that's just unexplainable.
Mhm.
So as we wrap up
Oh,
our interview today, and I'm so proud of you, as we wrap up our
thank
interview,
you.
what one piece of advice would you share to someone who right now in the world conditions that we're in, they're thinking that they can't start their business, that perhaps their jobs are closed and their income is stunted and they're losing hope of ever birthing that dream. Like, what advice would you give that young woman right now?
First, I would have to say, every person was born with a gift for the world. So look in yourself for that thing that is uniquely you. Try to work on that thing. You don't have to make a bunch of money the first time you do it. Try to invest. If you have $50 to invest that $50. See if you can get that to turn over. Save some, reinvest, use some. And use that method, because, and also look at what people are spending money on right now, and look at what problems there are that can be solved, because they say this generation is the problem solving generation. We could be lucky. We're so blessed because we were given all sorts of problems. But that's a blessing. We inherited all sorts of problems. So look at some of those problems and see which ones you can solve. See which ones you can do. And not everything actually, starts from just a business, a financial business. You could start with volunteering. Because that's when I started teaching, that's what I did. I volunteered at preschools, and I volunteered just so I could learn. Because you don't have to always go to school to learn. You could volunteer, be around people, get mentors, use what you have. You may not have time to give, money to give, but you have your time. So use the time, learn what you can, and then start something. So it's never, you can't say that I have nothing to give, because it was impossible, you wouldn't be alive. You have something to give. You have something and the thing is, some of the talents that we have, because of how we're put down and certain things are not honored in the community, we think it's not a talent. Like this whole Junkanoo thing. Our men and females, they're so talented in carving. Figure out what you can do. Figure out what you can do. Artists, figure out what you can do. People, and they think like love and helping and kindness is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
You can start there. Go to the children's homes, go wherever you can go and volunteer your time and help. You don't know who you're going to come across. Somebody be like, I like that lady. She always comes here with a pleasant demeanor. Let me ask if she want to do something. I have something in mind for her to do. And then, because that's how I was offered. I was volunteering at the preschool in Liberty City. And it was actually a preschool for babies with HIV. And I did that, and the lady, she was so impressed, and she came back to me. She said, I told one of my friends about you, and she said they had a job at the prison. I was just coming out of college. She said they have a job at the prison teaching reading, offering $50,000 a year. You want a job? Because you could have it. I was like, sounds good, but being a young female just out of college, I don't think I'll take that one. So she said, okay, I have another friend who does this. And that's how I got my first job, because I was around people and showing them that I was willing to show up and give, not for money, but because I was just showing my talent and using the talent I have. And from that, I got opportunities.
Awesome.
So, just find what it is within you and give that gift, and the Lord will provide for you, because that gift was given to you for you to provide for yourself.
Love it.
That's it.
So Melissa, where can people purchase Shiver if they want to go out and try it locally? Where can people purchase Shiver?
I don't want to get in trouble, but I can say a few places that I know are still open now. Centerville Food Store has it. ABBA on Charles Sanders has it. Kennan's on Prince Charles has it. Kruger Plastic has it. Susie Q in Palmdale has it. Corner Convenience on Bernard Road has it. There may be a few other places. There's a place on Robinson Road just after you pass Market Street, a pink building. Miss Major, Sabrina Major, she has it as well. So it might be a few other people, but those are the ones I remember.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I had so much fun.
If there are people that want to reach out to you because they want to source your product, how can they find you? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have?
Yep. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Shiver Bahamas. We have a web page, shiversorbet.com. So you can reach out to me. I think my WhatsApp is connected to the Facebook and to the Instagram. So you can just get in touch with me. We are under construction, so we can't provide for everyone yet, but we try our best. If I don't get to you today, I try to get to you as soon as I can, because we want everyone to taste it.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much for this inspiring story. Thank you so much for living the values and demonstrating that it is possible to achieve our dreams, for showing that where we start isn't necessarily where we have to finish. We just have to make choices, put in the hard work, be consistent at what we do, have a good attitude, and bounce back. And anything in the world is possible. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, thank you too. Have a good day. Bye.